Yes, sir. Welcome back to another Trap or Die film session. I'm your host of the Trap or Die podcast, Mual, Coach Jamal Force, all that good stuff, man. And listen, the Commanders got their ass whooped against the Buffalo Bills, bro. Top to bottom, start to finish, front line, quarterback, like core coaching. It was ugly. And a lot of people are going to suggest, or they have suggested to me on social medias, that they need to throw the game tape away, throw it in the trash, and move on to Philly. But you can't do that, especially with a young quarterback in Sam Howell, who really needs to know what's going on when he drops back to pass. And that's what this film is going to take into account. Like everything that happened when Sam, don't mind my new cap, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying something out. I just bought it. You know, I need something with all these locks, bro. Anyway, Sam Howell, man, he had a rough day, man. It was a terrible game. I mean, there's no sugarcoating or anything like that. But why did he have a terrible game? There was a few things that I think that we should shed some light into in this film session, and that's what I'm going to do, from coaching, from offensive line to then Sam Howell as well. Not in that order, kind of mixed up a bit, but without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the film session, show you what I saw, and get your thoughts on it. So as always, like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you're thinking, things like that. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So let's start out the gate. First drive had a couple issues, as we know. How you walk away with 0 points in that first drive. But first drive, fourth play of the game, man, you get a 2nd and 5 conversion for a first down to Terry McLaurin, right? And you may have saw it on like as I'm talking, but and this was kind of a common theme throughout the day. Sam Howell ran into some coverages that confused him. He ran into a team that really had good film study. They saw a person who really struggled moving off his first reads. And again, like I said, you see that in the first drive within the first 4 plays of the game. Now again, throwing to Terry can make you right, obviously, right? So you can throw the ball to Terry, you get a completion, you move the sticks. But again, when you drop back and you bird dog, but essentially just stare down your guy, just stare him down. You don't see what's available to you. And I mean, that's like an elementary explanation. And obviously it makes sense when you have a 3-by-2 in terms of your alignment, your 2 receivers at the top of your screen. And then you obviously have 1 running back, which looks like Curtis Samuel in the backfield on the top of the screen. And now you end up from a 3-by-1 to a 4-by-1 with Brian Robinson moving in motion. So it changes like the idea of what you can do. And when you see how far that single high safety is away from Terry, it makes sense to go Terry's way. But again, when you stare it down, you miss a bigger opportunity. And John Bates is that bigger opportunity in the middle of the field. So off rip, you kind of see early what Buffalo and what a lot of people notice with him, like not moving off of his reads and stuff like that. But you make yourself right throwing it to Terry, who gets you that first down in tight coverage. But now we move on to a play where I mentioned everything's not going to be in order as we go through the film, but this is one where I look at the concept and see that Sam really doesn't have no help from a play call standpoint. Now, again, when you look at kind of how I can't tell you why they chose to run it. When I say Coach Mo, I say that if you know, you know. But I can't tell you what EB was thinking or what like the goal was or what they should have done. I can just tell you the result, right? But like this formation at the top of his drop, there are still people running, like they haven't reached the top of their routes yet. And they haven't really created separation yet. So whatever the goal was here, you had to throw with anticipation, right? But at this point, when you see essentially everybody flooding the short side of the field, the boundary side, I would just check it down, right? Because there's nothing here from a schematic standpoint that gets anybody open. I'm checking it down. Like at the top of my drop, I see nobody's open. I'm checking it down right now to Bieniemy. And live or die with him getting a yard or 2. I'm cool with that. You don't need to make a big play out of it. If he makes the first dude miss, cool. But like get the ball out of your hands here. And that's kind of where I think it messes up on Sam Howell's end, but I think it really starts from the play call itself. And obviously after that first sack, you get another sack on consecutive plays. And now you're faced with a 3rd and 19, right? And in this instance, when you have a 3rd and 19 for Sam, this is one of those where you have to understand as a quarterback, I will be okay with a check down, right? You see the pick right here, right to Dyami Brown. I think the main thing is like he never even looks off of his target. Again, we showed you the play where you had a completion to Terry, right? But now you're looking at a play where he's just eyeing Bieniemy down, and it's somewhat of an arrogant throw. Like when you think about the touchdown pass that he had to Terry McLaurin against Denver, that was an arrogant throw too, but they knew it was a shot play. So, but like his arm talent will allow you in certain instances to get the ball there. This one was naive and like arrogant on the bad side. But also I should rephrase it a little bit. I think it's just inexperience to really think that you can try to fit a ball anywhere, especially with a linebacker who is athletic as what the Buffalo Bills provide, right? So in this instance, obviously 3rd and 19, you're only down 3-0. You took 2 bad sacks. Again, nuanced reasons for why they were sacks, but you took 2 sacks. Now you're in a 3rd and 19 situation. But you have John Bates on the same side, on the play side that you're looking at Bieniemy, right? As soon as John Bates gets into the flats, man, live and die with him catching the pass, maybe getting the first down, or just getting your kicker in a better situation for a field goal. 3rd and 19, the odds of getting that is no good. Another thing that you can think about when you have single coverage on Terry over top too, you can take that chance if you want to. Terry's at the top of your screen near the 20-yard line. You can take that chance if you want to. But I mean, that's on you. At the end of the day, I'm checking it down to John Bates and just letting that go. So that's your first turnover with Sam Howell today. All right, so another way in which Buffalo was impacting the Washington offense or really stifling Washington's offense was how they were providing pressure against Sam Howell and the Commanders, right? So we'll let this run, but obviously we showed what the first couple sacks in the first drive looked like, right? But now you look at another way that they provided pressure is sending an overload to one gap, right? So let's kind of show it on the other angle. It really didn't give Washington or even Sam Howell enough time to really get out of the pocket and make anything shake, whether it's a scramble or whether it's buying time for a receiver to get open, right? So you're seeing how Buffalo used both their linebackers again to flood the B gap on the left side with Sadiq Charles is, right? You got your 3 technique. I think that's Ed Oliver. Don't know. Can't remember. But 91 in between the tackle and the guard, right? Slants inside to the A gap. But now you have your stunt man or your crasher getting the outside shoulder of Sadiq. Antonio Gibson's left to pick up the crasher, right? But nobody's accounting for 43. And he's the one who gets home. So the way there's other ways that they were able to get home to Buffalo, and we'll get into some more of those soon, but that's kind of another way that they were really getting home to Sam Howell and impacting this offense throughout the day. Here's one of the bigger ones that you kind of witnessed with Sam Howell as well in the red zone opportunity to score points, right? Now, this one concept is a little different from the Logan Thomas touchdown, but they use Cole Turner, who is split or he's wide isolated up top, right? They use Cole Turner to really run the same route as Logan Thomas. They just dressed it up a little bit different. They had a trip side where your receivers are at the bottom of your screen and isolated up top, where Cole basically runs out and breaks back in at the top. Somewhat of a post, I guess, kind of different route. I don't know what they would call it in the league, but obviously the draw is to see where your linebacker, I can't see who that is, where AG is, he's curling, right? So if that linebacker takes him, Cole Turner should be open in the middle of the back of the end zone type of situation, right? But all of that is pointless because initially you see like that's the concept at the top of your screen, but I think it's probably more effective if you're running a certain coverage. So like maybe if this was man coverage or something, I don't know, you probably target Cole Turner in this instance. But in this zone, this specific zone, you see at the bottom of your screen, Jahan Dotson uncovers immediately and is wide open for at least 2 seconds before Sam Howell throws it. So a huge missed opportunity on the field side of the formation, on the 3 side of the formation for Sam and Washington to not find this guy because, again, what happens? Sam Howell locks on to his read. And one more thing, pass protection was just fine right here. So you had an opportunity to move off once you saw that Cole was covered. It's kind of a situation where you know you have to do better, especially in the red zone. Okay, more scheming that creates problems for Washington. More Buffalo scheming that creates problems for Washington's offense. Now, this is a form of a creeper pressure from the Buffalo Bills where Micah Hyde ends up getting the interception. So you got a creeper pressure up front, right? And then you have a late disguise or late rotation into a cover 3. from what was a too high safety look. So let's go back from the beginning. Creeper pressure, in case you don't know, is essentially a 4-man rush, but a defense will use a second or third level defender to replace one of the primary rushers, so a defensive end or outside linebacker, depending on what scheme you're in, right? So Buffalo, again, lines up in 4 down, or essentially a 4-man front with your 2 linebackers, right? But at the snap, you see the defensive end at the top of your screen drops back into coverage, and you got your second level linebacker rushing alongside 57 at the bottom of your screen. At the snap, again, you see your safety at the bottom of your screen sprint down to the flats, and now they're rotating into their cover 3, right? So all Sam Howell does is see that 57 is rushing free. He has to get it out high. Buffalo is anticipating that, right? And that's kind of why they call their scheme. They want Sam Howell to get the ball out quick. How can I force Sam Howell to get the ball out quick and us capitalize on him not being able to make a play in this instance, right? So he thinks that Gibson is open, and that's the result that you get. He never sees Micah Hyde coming down. It's just an easy play for Hyde. So here's another interception from Sam. Again, scheming is very important, right? It was scheming, it was play calls. Sometimes it was also just Sam Howell's poor decisions. And mind you, as we're going through this tape, sure, these are a lot of negatives from Sam, but you got to understand like what things are looking like from a film session. Like, this is going to be learning opportunities for Sam. Even in the film, I don't know exactly what they're saying, and they're definitely going to be more detailed than I am because I'm not a professional, but they're going to be way more detailed than I am going through these things, right? But up front, we'll show you, you got your double A gap pressure look up front, right? So essentially what you're doing with your double A gap look is just simulating that pressure, simulating the blitz that's coming, right? But at the snap, again, another creeper pressure, right? You got 6 down up front that's showing. Now you only have 4 rushing, right? So Sam automatically decides, I got to get up out of here. I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to get up out of here. This ain't safe. And that's when you get an opportunity for your defender to make a play on the football. He plays as well, splits the difference between Sam and Jahan, so he doesn't allow Sam to run outside of the pocket. Again, another inexperienced moment / arrogant decision to think that he can get it over the head of Jahan, just trying to make a play. You know, it is what it is, right? But he makes a play too and picks it off and houses it. But on the front end, what you see with that creeper pressure, right? The pocket is clean. There's no reason for you to scramble. But also, this is 3rd and 5. So look at Jahan, right, first and foremost. But I'm not even worried about Jahan because the linebackers are going to close in on Jahan. You have your flats. Like, your check down is right there available to you. If you are confused, find your check down. Your check down is right there. And you've already reached the top of your drop, right? Top of your drop. AG is leaking. That's where the ball needs to go. You live to fight another day. If he gets the first down, cool. But you know, at the end of the day, 1, you're allowing your playmakers to try and make a play. But 2, you aren't risking it by getting hurt, giving up another sack, or turning the ball over yourself. Especially on a 3rd and 5. Like, you give that opportunity to your playmakers. And here's another instance. Again, we went through some Sam Howell decisions, some scheming from Buffalo, right? And then also even from Eric Bieniemy. Here's another one from Bieniemy, and we'll close with this one. This is a 3rd and 12 for Washington, right? If you all seen some of the film sessions that I did last year during the Commanders morning shows, right? You saw one of my bigger issues with Scott Turner was like the long developing plays that really didn't help the quarterback, and it didn't really help the offense in situations, right? So you're facing a 3rd and 12 and understanding, sure, like 3rd and long, the odds to convert is in the defense's favor, right? It's going to be really hard to do that. But when you have an instance like this where nobody's getting open, right, at the top of his drop, and now he's having to navigate pressure and things like that, it's going to be hard to escape. So Washington gives up a sack here, right? But at the end of the day, erase this. It's and. So there's no help from a route concept standpoint, a route development standpoint that allows Sam to find somebody at the top of his drop, right? But not only that, there's traffic at his feet, as Kirk liked to say, is traffic at his feet, or what he said when he was with the Skins, right? So now he's not even looking downfield anymore. You see his head. He's trying to find alleys to escape. He feels some pressure on his left side on the loop. And even though the dude that Leno put on his ass is right there in front of him, he knows that a couple people in front of him, he's trying to find a way to escape as opposed to looking downfield. But again, as we show, there's nobody open. And they're all at the top of his drop, still trying to get into their routes. So again, there were several reasons for why Washington failed on Saturday or on Sunday, right? And it was so many different factors from Sam Howell. It was so many different factors from Eric Bieniemy, and obviously dropping them back so many times didn't help. Brian Robinson needs to get involved a lot more. And then Buffalo is a really good. They came prepared. They schemed them up well. We're not even talking about on the offensive side of the ball for Buffalo, how they schemed the defensive line completely out of the equation on Sunday. But there were so many different factors that really hurt this offense, and I think it's a learning lesson for everybody. Eric Bieniemy, who's in his first time really running the ship, right? And then Sam Howell, who just had one of the worst games he'll probably ever have, and knock on wood, that he'll ever have in the NFL. So how do they bounce back against another Super Bowl contending opponent? Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for us now. Obviously, learning lessons. Let me know your thoughts on Sam Howell. Let me know your thoughts on Eric Bieniemy, the offense altogether, if you think they'll bounce back against the Philadelphia Eagles. That's going to wrap it up for us. Y'all be safe. Peace.
Chop it down, chop it down, you gon' chop it down. Chop it down, you gon' chop it down. Damn, set, watch him throw the ball, man. We gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through 4th and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Dive.